Welcome back, YouTubers, to my channel of an everyday encounter and everyday life of an Aspie video blogs journey that I'm taking you all guys on. As you guys are fully aware, as in my last video, I was talking about basically covering the ones of the 2 steps up about AS and depression and the tips and management of basically how I go with my depression, as well as also basically how I go about it in my everyday life, like a little life story basically on it. On this one, however, as we know that in my previous video I was talking about basically AS and meltdowns, the different types, the stages, how it happens on me, how I cope with it every day, and hopefully it was just a touch briefly on just the tips along the way of how we're going to go about it. And all further ado, this is part 2 of AS and meltdowns, which is AS in isolation. So enough further ado, let's go. Many of us Aspies tend to close ourselves off from the outside world, be it regardless what it may be, as I said before, of the sensory overload or us being in amongst the crowd, that it's taking on too much toll on us, that we need to have our timeout zone. You know, many people may think we're rude and crude and basically just won't be able to mingle in that, but we need to be for ourselves, for us Aspies, be right in the state of mind basically, as well as eating right and looking after ourselves before our social energy tank is, you know, full again. We need to make sure that's happening. As you are fully aware, I mentioned this word social energy tank, which is a tank for us, or that basically in the social energy circle, to make sure that, you know, it's full beam when it comes down to just socializing and the like. Sometimes many people may think this is the thread again too of how we do with coping mechanisms, be it how we go about it, no matter what it is. You know, many people need to be aware and understand that every one of us, how we go in our everyday lives, we cope in different stages when these meltdowns occur, as I said so many times before. No matter what happens in our everyday lifestyle, be it if we have a meltdown, be it if we just had our day at work or whatever the case may be that has brought on this onset of this meltdown stage, we need to be aware that, you know, we should be working together and hopefully be able to create an understanding and awareness, you know, of, okay, yep, okay, she is basically, you know, needing time out, I better leave her alone. Or it's fine sometimes when we have our time out stage and we just focus on our everyday activity of basically, you know, given a moment of basically if it was a homework that was set for us, that we'll set ourselves down and do the work. But then again, sometimes also it'd be good sometimes if we had a one-on-one contact with somebody and just maybe talk it out if we had a rough day sort of thing, be it whatever it may be, finding someone who we can trust, because it's all about trust and building up that relationship with that particular someone of a friendship. And, you know, hopefully that friendship may blossom, even if it is actually a guy-girl kind of, you know, friendship, who knows. But, you know, as I said in one of my videos, some people are just afraid to take maybe the next step over. Sometimes, though, as I said, some of the stuff that comes in our way of these stages of our meltdowns, be it like I'm saying right now, that sometimes it can be a test for us to see how we're going to go about it, you know, regardless of the situation. That, you know, many people may think that it's not going to be easy and all that, but sometimes we just got to believe that something has to happen in a long time sort of thing. You got to realise though, however, when we isolate ourselves from a given situation, be it for my example, as I said before in my last video, being in a large crowd of people, you know, be it in a party sort of thing, or just playing sport, or whatever it may be, even though I'm starting to now push myself, even though I've been told I shouldn't be pushing myself too much, you know, just in case the anxiety attacks and all these other symptoms that comes along with my AS comes along the way sort of thing. Many people may think I look normal, you know, sitting there quietly and all that, but in all the honesty, sometimes I am, but sometimes it will be good just now and again just to be aware that some of these meltdown stages, you know, do occur for a given right or reason in amongst it all. We are quite the opposite, however, as I said to you before, that we need our time out, but you need to realise that at this type of time, sometimes we need to release the negative energy around us, release the negativity forces of basically maybe some people that we have been socializing with that have been bringing us down and out, regardless of what it is. You know, maybe some of the people that's in our circle may be saying negative things about us or to us about their everyday life of what's going on. No matter what, as I said in the last video, many people need to realise that I'm here for a reason, even though, yes, okay, I should have pushed out all these negativities that has been put upon me, that I'm worthless and all this. I know that I can do anything in my own strength and stride, in my own given right and time, even though it might take take longer than others for my successes to come my way. Some things that I do in my everyday life is taking its toll on me as well as taking time. But in all fairness, and what's the reason to rush about and actually trying to get ahead of others? You know, life is all about just taking each day and enjoying the moments that we face each day in a way. We need to be aware though, we have to have the right support networks, be it our friends, family and that, but I know that some people in my circle may be a bit unsure of who they can turn to, who they can trust. But in all fairness, I know what it's like to just be isolated and alone, sometimes in our darkest moments of times, be it like, as I said in my last video, of my depression, sometimes with the black dog following me, depending how it is. Sometimes, you know, I just trying to push it and just keep fighting. And, you know, I'm a fighter and I'm well aware that sometimes with these goal subsets has been knocked back for 6 with certain goals that I had in mind to do every time. And many people may think that, you know, it's not the right way to go about life, but it's good to have backup plans, goals and stuff, you know, long, short and midterm. But no matter what we do in our life, you know, be it if some of us, you know, some of them will be laughing at us thinking, oh, you know, this is not going to work, blah, blah, blah. But as I said, however, bear in mind that I am the kind of girl that likes to basically try to press on forward regardless of setbacks and throwbacks at me that will come my way. I believe also that no matter what the situation is, I tend to, as I said to myself, trying to find a solution. Sometimes some solutions may not come easy and others, and then again, you know, sometimes, as I said before, reading black and white between the lines and stuff, even though many people have been telling me I'm, as I said in my last video, assume too much, but then again, you know, if I'm assuming too much, I know I feel something that doesn't feel right, I'll speak it out, regardless of what it may be. And I know for a fact that regardless of what I do in my everyday activities, be it like as I'm doing right now, video blogs, be it if I'm just trying to get ahead in life, trying to, you know, focus on getting jobs and whatever else that I need to do for myself, that some of them are jealous and insecure. However, despite all of that, you know, that's fine. You know, some of them may tend to decide to just break off from my circle, but that's fine by me also. They have their reasons, and even though they may have doubts about me or whatever, but in all fairness and like I said, patience, empathy and all that needs to be taken into place. I'm just hoping, as I said so many times before, I just want to create an understanding, taking out the stereotyping of certain people that does this, of certain things about Aspies, that, you know, Aspies are just hard work people that are, you know, with it, you know, or they're just hard to understand and everything, all these labels that I said so many times before, but I am not hard to understand. I'm basically easy to get on with. Once you get me going, you know, talking and stuff, you probably understand, yeah, I have different life experiences to you guys of what I've been through, be it whatever it may be, and I dealt with it differently. But in all fairness, hopefully we can just meet in the middle and just basically, you know, get on with it and so on and so forth, you know. Okay. In all fairness to know, these are the pros and cons of isolation. Okay, the pros is number one, we have the decreased sense of discomfort pretty much while being around with people. Pretty much when for too long, regardless of the stage where I am getting so overstimulated, be it, as I said so many times for this example, being in a large crowd in a birthday party with a lot of noises going on, you know, be it a lot of whisperings, be it a lot of loud music, be it, you know, drinking sessions or whatever the main case may be. Sometimes for me though, I can only handle for me, you know, for a short period of time, you know, certain noises that really stimulates me to the core that can actually get me to that meltdown stage. And sometimes, like I said before, I do a little bit of stimming of certain things, like maybe, you know, doing my finger clicking, maybe a bit of humming, maybe a bit of arms flailing up and down, or when I talk, sometimes I use my hand movements too much and many people think it's crazy, but that's just how I work. Number two on the pros of isolation is I can control the environment that I'm in regardless of what it is, and making myself comfortable within that environment at that given moment in time. I may not feel helpless. Many people think you may feel helpless in that situation, but to me, I don't. I just take a time out stage, as I said, and then when I have that time out stage, as I said before about the meditation, I can be at peace within myself and in that environment. Number 3 is the lack of social pressure around me, regardless when it comes down to, here's an example, socializing in parties, socializing at maybe business networks, business associations, whatever the case may be. But I need to act a certain way towards this particular type. But as I mentioned, sometimes I need to be reprogrammed in my mindsets, how I'm going to deal with the situation at hand. Like I said in one of my videos, I think is like, when it comes down to that reprogramming stage of me, I need to basically sit down and observe my surroundings and actually think and watch every one of yours to see when is my cue to actually talk and say my piece, sort of thing. Many people may think that's crazy, but that's how I roll. Sometimes I need to, when I reprogram, I need to relearn every situation, even those certain situations I've faced with my meltdowns and stuff, and everyday experiences that I've been through in my everyday life, that sometimes it's good to just take a step back. Maybe, every time I've done this, like, be it like of a relationship or something that I've been coming to an end for me, I take a step back and think, was it worth the hassle trying to make it work more, or was it worth the hassle to try and carry it on, regardless what it is? Even though many people may think I'm crazy trying to stick around for certain people, but then again, like I said, it's up to you how you're going to take me on board, sort of thing as well. When being alone, however, this is number 4, on a phone or a computer talking to someone, this gives me the time out stage to process my thoughts, as I said, want to say and think and act. Sometimes many people may think, being on a computer or phone, talking to people, that doesn't matter. But in that given right, sometimes that gives me the time also to just, like I said in my last video, to write down my thoughts to paper. Sometimes I don't say my thoughts out loud because of, as I said and noticed before, fear, which I don't mean to feel this way sometimes, but that's just me. Fear of what people may think or say about me once I say it, even though sometimes I'm trying to be the real me here. Yes, okay, I'm a female, I've got raging hormones, and yes, I stress a lot, I tend to think a lot, and whatever the likes may be, but no further ado, I do like to write down thoughts to paper, sometimes because it brings me more comfort, sort of thing, than anything else in the long run. Also, another pro for this is, for this isolation stage, it gives me the time out stage for hopefully having more time of what I enjoy, and hopefully, basically, I can find some everyday activities that I enjoy and love, and actually just to connect back with it and whatnot. Okay, now back to the isolation of the cons, however. Sometimes there will be a chance for improving skills with interacting people around me. Sometimes it can be a lacking of it. It will mean it will take more time to build up that confidence again, regardless if someone knocked me back for 6, sort of thing. And then basically, in all fairness and we shouldn't be knocked down for self-confidence, and all that, because I've noticed in the past with me, I've been probably way too confident sometimes, but then I need to just tone it down a bit and actually just try and think on ways to actually find what fits for me. Okay, number 2 for this isolation for us Aspies is a lack of pretty much communication and physical contact, be it, we might want to be intimate with somebody, be it we want to just hug somebody, be it whatever it may be, that sometimes that will lead down to the withdrawal stage that, we just don't want to be touched at all or whatnot, especially, like I said, the depression one, sometimes, that can come with it too. Number 3, sometimes seeing something new and different will become a challenge or a chore, or even just a routine, be it of an empty space. What I'm meaning here is sometimes when it comes to being a different job, chore and all that, of us being in something new and different place of a given moment, sometimes we just feel that we need just to do it just for our own pleasure. I don't know. Some of us may just feel that, in an empty space, full that it's like kill off stage that, we just don't want to socialise with anyone. And then, as I said, that shutdown stage comes in and just the depression and all that kicks in, and then we just tend to lose our way, sort of thing. And number 4, the last one of the cons, is nothing to challenge you or even to excite you if you're isolated. Sometimes I feel that can be true, sometimes not. But then again, sometimes when it comes down to basically when we're isolated, you know, some things do come our way, you know, but then we're the only ones that can create our own journeys and our life stories, our own legacy and whatever else we need to do in our everyday lives, be it whatever it may be it if we want to be an actress, be it we want to just travel around the world non-stop, you know, maybe for a few years and enjoy ourselves before we maybe decide to settle down and have little wee ones and get married and that, even though many people may think this is crazy, but that's just life. You know, yeah, so in all further ado, that's all I can think of the pros and cons based on this part 2 of the AS and Meltdown stage of AS in isolation. I just hope you like, comment and subscribe down below. You know the drill pretty much. Thanks for watching and I'll see you all soon.